handle the truth.
Good morning, everybody. Hope you're having a good day. We'll talk a little bit about what happened in Utah with Charlie Kirk. We all heard the news. He's been assassinated, murdered, or whatever. The question is now, who did what when? We've seen several things. I've seen it on Minutes of Horror, on BP Earthwatch also. Two different gentlemen that had weapons pointed at Charlie Kirk that was standing at the stage next to him. I don't know if you've seen these videos, but you can find them on Minutes of Horror and also on BP Earthwatch. I want to add in some comments on this, guys, that we know that this is a planned event. Okay, there's no doubt about it. The word was the day after that he was assassinated, that he had died 6 days before that in Florida at his studio. So we got some questions about that. And if that was not him, then who was it that was on the stage the other day in Utah? The question about the shooters, who did what when? Like I said, there's two people that was associated, that was near the stage with Charlie Kirk, that is a possible shooter, not the guy that's in jail. This guy in jail is probably going to be suicided shortly, to put it bluntly. There's lots of questions about this, guys. Now, one of the things I did check out real quick, because those two gentlemen that's standing next to the stage, or three of them, they look like enforcers or bodyguards or whatever. Two of them was seen with a handgun, one of them with a small barreled caliber rifle pistol, another one with a nickel-plated pistol. And the sound that came from one of the shots sounded like an air rifle cycling. Any of you that have operated a CO2 powered air rifle, pellet rifle, would know what the sound sounds like. And if you go through the video, if you can catch the sound, it will sound just like an air rifle going off, not a large percussion. There's lots of strange things, guys, about this going on. One of the other things I did find out is, recently, in the last year and a half, Charlie Kirk has been very vehemently opposing BlackRock and exposing lots of stuff about BlackRock and Larry Fink and the whole 9 yards. And if you look at these bodyguards, they look like bodyguard type, big football players, jocked up and all that stuff like that. And it's a possibility that these people are associated with BlackRock also. What I'm saying, guys, is that BlackRock is probably behind this assassination. As you well know, that Trump is associated with BlackRock, Planetar, and several other organizations that is part of the surveillance community getting ready to hand down. This is all planned out, guys. There's no doubt about it. This is planned out. That's why we have so many sketchy ideas about who did what, when, where, and all this other stuff. And while they're putting up false statements about who did what. The government's trying to cover this up. Again, we're seeing the thing, just like what happened with Trump in Pennsylvania. That was a false flag event, planned event, probably by Trump cronies. When Trump slapped his head when he got shot, supposedly, he had a small razor blade in his hand and he cut his ear. It's a wrestling trick, guys. Y'all ever watch professional wrestling? They use small blades in their hand to cut themselves to get blood flowing. And that's the truth of it. And that's exactly what was done here. Charlie Kirk was assassinated because of his coverage and exposure of BlackRock. Take it to the bank, guys. Who did what, when? Well, we'll never really find out. But we do know that the guy that's been locked up is not guilty. Got a little bit more information for you guys. We've heard historically about the 1918 Spanish flu that went global. And subsequently, they're not associated yet, but it is associated to the sleeping sickness that struck North America and Europe in 1918. These are connected. They've yet to be conclusive with it, but evidence points to that they are connected. What I want to talk to you about is about the Spanish flu. They have discovered, after genome sequencing, all that stuff like that, guys, that it is a bird flu, an avian flu that crossed over quickly into humans and spread across the world. There's like 100 million people died from this thing, and everything's pretty big, pretty bad. It started in, they started noticing it, the effects in October of in 1918 in the United States, and also in Europe in 1918. So we want to step back a little bit before October 1918. World War One started in 1914 and ended November 1918. Kind of important date there. But they had first record of this, a somewhat record of this, in March of 2018 at Fort Riley Training Base in Kansas, which is right next to Manhattan, Kansas. And y'all know that Manhattan on Long Island is pretty close to that Plum Island where they do biological experiments with different things, diseases and stuff. So it's not too much of a leap of faith to think that this Fort Riley base was outside of Manhattan, Kansas, was possibly involved in also formulating chemical, biological weapons. Anyway, these recruits in 1918, March of 1918, all got sick from some kind of flu. Then they were sent to Europe to fight in the war. So again, it's not too much of a jump to imagine that this was set up by who? Well, you know who, our government. And they sent these people overseas with infections to spread the disease to see what happened. And again, guys, shortly after World War I ended in February or maybe March of 2019, the sleeping sickness struck the United States and Europe. Not too much of a jump of ideas or thinking that they are connected. The outbreak in Kansas in March of 1918 is connected to the Spanish flu in October 1918 and the sleeping sickness that struck the United States and the world in 1919. Have a groovy day, guys. Later, taters.
Attention passengers, we've now reached our destination. We hope you enjoyed the flight and have a nice day.